Hi, this is Chris with Mimo Bees, and today I want to talk about swarm traps. It's that time of season when you start getting 60 degrees or above. This is when you start thinking it's time for swarm traps if you're not checking your hives every day or if you want free bees. This is a hive trap that we built. It's pretty standard. And with this, you take off the lid. And with this one, we have deep in it. These are deep frames. And we'll have a couple that's empty with no comb on them. And as you can see the size here, because you want this empty space down here for the bees to enter when they swarm, because they want to get into their new home as much as possible, fast and quick. You also want a space, because when you look for a new home and you want to grow, you want space. So we're going to have a couple of these. Next one, these are last year's. Some little wax on them, give them something to start with. But you want to get, if you can, find a mentor or a local bee group. And sometimes they will give out some of this brood comb, and it has a pheromone smell in it, going, hey, this was a great place to live. So it has pheromones on it from a previous queen, and this is ready to go. So when they move in, they just have to fill it and cap it. So this will make a queen happy also, because they've got already some furniture there. And sometimes this is what it'll look like. These are a couple pieces I got from my mentor in bee group, and you just want to put them in with rubber bands. The bees will connect them to the frame later when they move in. But though, just a couple pieces here. Let me get this closer. There we go. And you just want to rubber band these in so they'll hold them in. And that'll make them, it brings the scent to them. This is just another empty frame. This is black. I prefer black on my deeps because later on I want to be able to see those eggs before they're capped. And against the black, I mean, they're so little, but they're white. It shows up nicely on them. And I use the black on my deeps and the other cream colors and stuff on my supers. So, just a couple of those. This is a 6 frame is what I built. It's got plenty of room. And I've got bees flying around me right now because, well, it's 60-some degrees today here in mid-Missouri. With this, we put in entrance so I can reduce it down to just a little spot they can go in. And when I want to move them, I can just shut it and it's vented. So I can shut it up, move them over where I need to go with them. And that's the way it goes. This here is, I use some thin cable to help. You can hook it from the trees. I prefer to put in a couple of bolts or screws on the bottom if I'm hanging it from a tree to help stabilize it so it don't swing. Some cotton rope is nice to use. You can put this on a nice little quick clip, hang it from a tree. And later on, I will be setting these in the trees and show you where I put them and how I put them. So you just tie this up and get something heavy on the other end to throw it up in the tree and over a limb. And you can pull it up, or you can back up your truck or a UTV, whatever you may have. To get it up in, but you prefer somewhere around 10 to 15 foot off the ground. And with that, it all depends. You want to look for trees at the edge of a forest, or what they call a landmark tree, which I'll show you in when I set this box over here. And that's a tree, when you look out somewhere, you see that draws your attention. It's called a landmark tree. So this is very simple. You paint them, preferably you scorch the inside of the box with a small torch or something, or flame. And bees like dead trees, and they move in, because it gives them, I'm not really sure, but they're attracted to the dead wood scent and burnt foliage scents. That is the standard box that I have, and I will set this one in a tree later. This one over here is a design that I've seen. Let me move this. This is the other nice thing about this cable. You can pick it up and put it down. With this one, I'm trying this one this year. I watched a gentleman And he made these, and it kind of made sense. And this is a standard deep box. Same thing here. There's some wax frames. Here's some brood frames to attract them in. Same idea. But instead of building a whole separate box, because you got to store this gear in the winter, and I'm starting to get an addiction on the storing. But you got to be able to store the gear, and it's separate than these. This is a honey super. Let me set this on. And this is what they call a honey super or a medium box. And this is all it is. It is a bottom board, standard bottom board that you're going to have on your hive anyway. And this is a medium box. It would have medium frames in it, but for swarm trap purposes, we're going to leave this empty. And with that, it's the same spacing as it did on the other box. This is a little more, but it's okay. You don't want too much space though. Stick with medium, not a deep on the bottom here. But we're going to leave this empty. And to keep it so it doesn't wiggle around, because you want your baseboard attached because you're catching a swarm. I put in a couple screws here. As you can see, there's some screws here, and I've used some just what we call farm wire, stuff we use here on the farm, to keep it from moving back and forth and make it kind of stable. Now I'm going to do this the same thing with that box. So what I'll do is I'll set this box on top of this one, just like so. And I'm going to do the same process to this, to make it all completely stable for where I'm going to put it. So you have this empty so they can go right in. And we'll do the introducers. I have a standard small one here. And I'll put this right here in the front. The only problem with this is you're going to have to tape this over when you move it to your yard after you catch a swarm. But that's okay, because you're not have to move them out of this box. When you get done, say I've captured a swarm. I have this all set up and where I'm at. Now there's a swarm in there. So I'll go say, okay, I seen them go in. After dark, I'll go out, tape this over. This will be ratcheted down tight, because I'm not going to screw the lid down, because you need to check on stuff. But I can take this whole thing, take it out to my yard, give them a day or two to reacclimate to where they're at. Then I can undo these wires here. I'll lift this box off, because they've been there a day or two. And I can lift this box off like this. Just set it over. And if I undid this screws and stuff here, I just undo the wires, lift this box off, and then put this one right on top of the bottom board, where they were at, where their smell is. And that's the easiest part of that. It is a little heavier, so don't put it too high in a tree where you can't get it. I will show you later in the film that where I mount these and how I mounted this on a platform. But with swarm traps, I said over here, since I have friends visiting, I have in here just some Q-tips. This is just a little peanut jar I had. And these Q-tips, because my jar leaked, is lemongrass oil. So I'll take one of these out, Q-tips, and just put it in a little Ziploc bag. So if I put the Q-tip in the Ziploc bag, and then I'll just leave it open or partially open, the oil, the fumes will leak out when it's above 60. And you just leave this in the top up here. And that's where the smell, you want it in the back. And you just want to give them a little smell of lemongrass. And that's in the trap because it's the same smell or perfume, called pheromone, as a queen. So it kind of attracts them to it and go, hey, this place is empty. And they may circle around it for a day too. Your bees, and if I can get it, I'll show you. Your bees will, if they're swarming, at first they will send out scout bees. The scout bees will be going this way, up and down. They're going around the box because they're getting measurements. Then they've got to fly back to where they're at, where they're going to swarm from. They're going to split a hive that's already there. And they got to tell their friends. And they got to tell their friends that this... I landed my hand on a bee. Oop, that was not good. Sorry, dude. That they want to measure this out, and they want to sit here and tell their friends. They'll fly back to wherever they're going, and they'll tell their other friends that went, hey, we wanted to go somewhere else. Hey, I found this place. It's this tall. It's this wide. It's got plenty of room. It smells great. Then they'll bring more friends, and they'll measure it out. Once you get enough bees going, yeah, that's what we want to do, then we start doing waggle dances of distances and directions of where the rest of them need to go. When they swarm, it does look like the cartoon. It's big. It's a black cloud that it's flying through the air. And when they get there, this front of this place will look like a small baseball to a basketball size of bees trying to get in there, and they want to in as fast as they can. That's the reason you need the extra spacing, because they're out in the elements and they're trying to get their queen in and all their workers in, but that's the reason that we have the spacing. Go away, little bee. They like the lemongrass. This, set this up here. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to put in these screws. And then I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've got my screws in, so now I'm going to add the wire, and I'm just going to bend it over a little bit, and then kind of figure eight it so it stays there, and then clip it off, and do the rest. Bend this here a little bit. I've got bees flying around here. My bee yard is 300 yards away, and with that, they have a 2-mile radius where they go search. That's their most area. That's home. And because I have all this equipment in here from last year that's got all this queen smell on it, maybe some honey left over where I spun it out. They didn't get it cleaned up enough last year. The bees are right here, want to know what I'm doing because they are very nosy. And you're going to have to remember that. If you look into getting your own bees and have them at your home, don't forget to be bee neighborly. Because, like I said, 2-mile radius, if you have, a mile within a school, or your neighbors are allergic to bee stings, you got to remember these things. And also check with your local and city ordinances and see what they are. Because every town and every city is different. Let me get another piece of wire. This is what I mean by farmware, just so you guys get an idea. This is farmware. I get it at my local farm store, Tractor Supply, Orchlands, whatever you have in your area. And it's just a roll. It's usually $7 to $10, depends on how thick you want it. We use it here on the farm, so it works for about everything. Get this off. I'm going to put this on this last piece here. And as you can see, I can bend it with my fingers. We're just going to figure eight these. Then I'll use my pliers. And the last one I'll just kind of wrap around here. And kind of give them a squeeze, make them a little tighter. And this will make it easier for the bee, this bee box, because now it is secure. I can wiggle it around. And if it gets a wind before or a storm, which here in Missouri we are known for straight line winds, hail, and some tornadoes, this will be anchored down with a ratchet strap, which I'll show you later. But it gives it, it's not going to move around. So if I pick it up from here or down here, it's going to stay together also for this roof piece. That way it makes it easier for me to move them into my yard after somebody has moved into this apartment. So that is that box. use bee lure, which is lemongrass, on a Q-tip. There's other ways of doing it. Some people put them on a cotton ball and just drop them in. But you have to remember, after about a week or so, if you don't have anybody moving into your swarm box, you might need to rebait that. It's too early to put them out. But I'm kind of jumping the gun because it's supposed to be 70 today. What am I going to do? I have to rebait them? It's okay. They're already there. It's nice and warm. I'm ready to go. My bees are already bringing in pollen. And in the next day or two, I'm going to go and take the winter gear off and give a good hive check to that. And I'll have that posted too. And I ask you guys, please like and subscribe. I'm on YouTube and I'm also on TikTok. Because every time I get a subscriber, and that will help put me out there for people in my area that would like to have honeybees in their backyard. And I'm just trying to give out some tips and tricks that I've learned so far. And we will learn together. All right, let's take a break here and we'll go hang these up in a tree and I will show you how that's done. Be right back. Okay guys, I'm out in my field and this is the post that I'm going to put the big one on. And here in a minute, I'm going to put on the boards and the mounting bracket that I'm just going to strap that to so I don't have to take anything down later. All right, hang on with me. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I have my stuff set up. So I've got my two boards and I'm going to screw them down here, but I have this little level right here. And because you want the front to slightly tip to the front so it drains out any water. And right now, because I want to point my hive south or southeast, they're tipping backwards. So the cheapest thing I have found, and you will learn this in bees, and it works in many ways. The paint sticks you get from your local Lowe's or Home Depot are great for shims on a lot of things. And they're free. So what we'll do is we'll put these shims underneath the back here, all the way across. Second. We want to space this out as far as I can go on this board. Let's see. Oops. Now, it's still a pretty good bubble, so we need to get at least one more shim in there. That in a little bit. That one's about right. This one here is a little off. And I have my friend here, as you'll notice, because I'm on a farm. This is Willie. Willie wants to know if I have food. And the other two are behind me watching me from the other side. So they're looking for food. You'll see them every once in a while in my videos because I am in the middle of my cow pasture. Because that's a great place to put the bees. But anyway, we've got this tilted down. We want a little more bubble, I like to, so we'll scoot this, because, you know, posts are never straight. We have to cut them so the water will run off them so they don't rot. Alrighty. We got this slightly south, so I'm going to put this on. We've got our screws in. We're pretty good and stable here. So then what we're going to do next is we're going to put this up here without the lid on it. All right. The lid will be last because remember, we have to bait the box. You got to put the perfume in. Go. All right. So I've got a little bit of overhang in the front and a little in the rear. And this is where I'm going to hang the, hook the straps. So we'll just wrap the strap around here and then over the back of it, and we can ratchet it down. First, before I get down, I'm in the back of my UTV, so that's my stepping stool. We will get because I do not have any extra Ziploc bags, which I'll do it later. We're just going to lay one of these up here. As you can see, whoop. Oh, the sun's in the way. I laid it up on top of the frames. And that's all there is to it. We're going to put this lid on. Like so. And this was ready to go besides me anchoring it down. 1 second. Okay guys, that took me a minute. I'm not as limber as I used to be. I had a shoulder surgery. But as you can see, now I have it strapped down to this post. She's set with bait. She has her small opening right here. And we'll leave that. We'll just kind of keep an eye on it every day and see if somebody moves in the next couple weeks. Now we're going to go to the next box, the traditional one. And that one's a little more difficult because I've got to set the new nails in the tree to set it on. And I'll show you that when I get to that tree. But this is box number 1 of Swarm Traps. Different options. I'll be right back. Please like and subscribe. This is Chris with Mimo Bays. I'll be right back with the other swarm box. Okay guys, I'm at site number 2. This tree is pretty nice. It's about 50 yards from where my bee yard is, on the other side of this thicket. But it has some dead wood on it from here. It's an older tree. I can point it southwest. And yes, I already baited it with my lemongrass Q-tip. And yes, the bees are already here sniffing it out. So what I'm going to do, because I want to use a ratchet strap so I can help secure this better, I'm going to take this clip. Look at this up so you see. Ouch. And I'm going to put this clip on here and then clip it to the end of my hook, and the bee go away. They're nosy already. They smell it. They have a very good sense of smell. So for extra security, I have that on there. So if that comes unhooked for any reason, it won't go anywhere. I'm going to get this in a tree because the bees are already being nosy. So we're going to pull this up here. So it's kind of an assist and pull at the same time. Almost there. I gotta get this top straightened out. Open up the tree. There we go. And there, I've got it rested on the 2 nails. As you can see, I've got to put 2 nails for help stability, and that'll help keep them rocking. But at the same time, I'm going to wrap this strap around it so the wind doesn't blow it around, and I'm going to anchor it back to this tree limb right here because it's still a good limb. 1 second, please. Got my hands to work with me here. Now I gotta watch the tilt on it because I don't want it going back. This one does have an extra drain plug on it and an extra entrance, so not too bad. All right. Now what I'm gonna do is adjust it again. There we go. Just like that. That's where I want it. Alright, see if I can get this around the tree. Because you want to go around the tree, that helps with anchoring. There we go. And get your finger out of the way. Then we're just going to take it back up here and put it around this tree limb. And when I tighten it down, it'll help it from any wind blowing it around. And I'm just going to leave this kind of cracked open here. Because you don't want too much of an opening right off the bat. If it's a small hive or a swarm, they need somewhere they can go and protect. They don't have a lot of resources. So they need everybody building instead of guarding the front door. So you want to keep the entrances small. Sometimes I'll take them all the way down. In the later months of the summer, I'll take them way down because, yeah, you'll still get small swarms. But if you don't have, what do you call it? Frames with comb on them already for winter, it's real hard to get them to build up enough for winter. This is not working the way I wanted. And the bees are circling me already. See if I can do this back. There we go. Now I got it shortened up. And there she goes. And this is swarm trap number 2. And like I said, this was 50 yards from my bee yard, and the other one is about another 150. So I've got them spaced out about 50 and 200 yards from my yard in case I do not catch a swarm before they take off, which I will be checking in the next couple days. We have a chance to rain tomorrow, so maybe not tomorrow. But I'll be checking to see if anybody's building a queen cells, if there's drone cells, how my queens are laying, because I've got a couple hives that are 2 years old. And I'll look for all those items when I get into those. And it'll probably be by in the next 2 or 3 days. And I will post that video for you too. So you can see what I'm looking for at the same time I'm looking for it. This is Chris with Mimo Bees. I ask you to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.